Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Those who believe in God and still keep on worrying, they are atheists. Those who believe in God and still keep on worrying, they are atheists. You thought this quote was about someone else, didn't you? This is by Pujaswami Tejomayananda. And this quote is most obvious. Faith and fear are antonyms. The way to grow from belief to faith so that we are not atheists is through manana. The more you reflect on divinity, the more you come to feel divinity. Earlier this morning, when we were training in contemplation, I had shared divinity is in the details. This nurtures clarity, conviction, confidence. In Meaningful Mornings, we are comprehensively engaged in reflection. We call this inspiration because this is coming from Sri Krishna, and we are reflecting on this inspiration so that this is personalized. If there were an alternate name for Meaningful Mornings, it would be Manana Mornings. And this is important to note because in the next 10 days, we will complete 1,100 mornings together. We will complete 17 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. An incredible amount of manana, reflection, faith. Bhagavad Gita's chapter 6:14 focuses on limits. Not wanting this, chapter 15, limitlessness. Then in chapter 16, Shri Krishna takes up lifestyle. Our lifestyle, it is based on what our sampatti is. Sampatti means wealth, but not outer wealth, inner wealth. What is important to us, our lifestyle manifests accordingly. In this chapter, Shri Krishna shared some have the importance towards values. Lower than that, valuables. Lower than that, valueless. They don't have any value, and they don't want anyone else to have value either. In chapter 17, the focus is on likeness. Your faith is what determines your lifestyle. And that's why Pujya Swami Tejromayananda has shared, worrying is indicative of one who doesn't have strong faith. Lifestyle, I can tell you, I'm a believer, but deeper than one's lifestyle, more authentic than one's lifestyle is the likeness. Shri Krishna uses the word Shraddha. That is who we are. This faith is in regard to discipline. I'd mentioned from Sri Bhagavad Gita that there's 5 directions of faith that one needs to have to feel Sri Rama. The first is discipline. So coming back, chapter 17, likeness. Your likeness is really determined by your faith. Faith in what? Discipline. Those who have lots of faith and discipline, they live for values. Those with less faith and discipline, they live for valuables. It's easier. Those with little faith and discipline, they live for valuelessness. Do nothing, be nothing. In this chapter, Shri Krishna has opened up Shraddha and 3 classifications of this. Shri Krishna has opened up Ahara. In English, association. There are 3 classifications of associations that help you to have lots of faith, less faith, little faith. Now Shri Krishna is opening up Yajna, in English, dedication. In verse 11, Sattvic Yajna is taken up. This is dedication in which one has lots of faith in discipline. If I can give you another framework in terms of what to be dedicated to, in verse 11, Shri Krishna is highlighting presence. To be dedicated to presence is the best dedication. In verse 12, Shri Krishna is coming down. Some can't be dedicated to presence, so he comes down to Rajasic Yajna. That is dedication. Now we're putting it in quotes. Though it's called dedication, it's not. This is encouraging aggressiveness, selfishness. This is where our dedication has a purpose. What do I get? I'm reading to what Pujya Swami Chinmayananda has written about such dedication. With a view to gaining a fruit. In order to gain a chosen result, some people act in the world, and naturally, while in the field of activity, they're too much preoccupied with their anxieties and worries. They grow more and more nervous at their own imaginations. They ever live in an atmosphere of fear as to whether they will gain a particular chosen goal or not. How many of you can relate to this observation? We definitely can. In the next paragraph, there's such a awesome line that's written. Proving themselves to be showboys of society. The showboys of society. Recently, a student had asked, I'm going to read the question exactly. How does one identify or find out if one has sattvic ego? And how does one shatter or rise above this? This question is very much in line with this showboyness. this Rajasic yajna. So here are some reflections for everyone. Firstly, one can identify if they have a sattvic ego if they reflect. If one never engages in reflection on themselves, they will never know who they are, good or bad. So number one, self-reflection. Number two, a sattvic ego is where you're making yourself more important than God's work. I'd shared with our crew that if anyone on the crew who's serving and they're too slow, they're not making service a priority, then that service should be taken away from them and be given to someone who will make this a priority. And I summarize this as seva is more important than sevika. Clear? The purpose is more important than the person. And that's going to come out in verse 13. So if you're living and you are giving yourself more importance than God's work, that is sattvic ego. Another way you know that there's sattvic ego is you have a propensity to criticize. One who is generally critical of others, they again feel that they are superior to those around them. Earlier I shared, they feel they're more important than God's work. In this case, they feel that they're more important than God's creation. And I interact with a lot of people like that, and they don't realize this. I feel in my own personal journey to joy, I have grown a lot in being less critical and in being more accepting. And it makes me feel very good. And so I'm sharing the same with you in terms of being a critical person really is anti-acceptance. Acceptance is one who is sattvic and not sattvic ego. Final reflection on how do you shatter or rise above a sattvic ego is to be around those who are great. When one is around those who are great, first you are humbled by them and then inspired by them. Humbled first, that kicks out the ego part, and then inspired, that's to establish yourself in that sattva. All of these are reflections on verse 12. We continue to verse 13. This is the third in the classification. Shraddha done, ahara done, now yajna is being completed. Vidihinam asrishtanam, mantrahinam adakshinam, shraddha virahitam yajnam, tamasam parichakshate. Joy. The word yajna is used. Yajna means dedication, but here we're going from quotes to brackets. It is even more qualified. It is not dedication. Okay? Lots of dedication, that's sattvic. Less dedication, rajasic. Little dedication, tamasic. Quotes, now brackets. What characterizes such little dedication? Vidhi, that is following the rules or the scripture. Hina, the opposite. Vidihina. Annam. Annam means to share food. The implication is this is universal. Everyone needs food. asrishta, that one doesn't share food. Next, mantra. Mantra means it's come from the Veda. The Veda is God's breath, hina, the opposite. So no guidance, no food, no mantra or reverence for the divine. Dakshina, adakshina. One does not feel grateful or generous. And this is all because shraddha virahitam, there is little faith or little likeness, or their personality is little. When someone is little, they don't give. And I'll tell you why practically. It's because they're not giving up that littleness. If you start giving up littleness, you will start to give. Give, in this case particularly, annam, share food. Dakshina, share resources. Parichakshate, such way of living is described as tamasam. It is a yajna or dedication that's filled with laziness, darkness. This gets expressed as valueless. Okay? Sharing again. Right now, our children are downstairs. Sheila's on vacation for 4 days. And so Shuka got up at 4 o'clock today. So we've been up together since 4 o'clock. Vyasa got up right after the highest vocation. And just being with both of them, I see how Shuka holds on to some toys that Vyasa doesn't. Because Vyasa's bigger than him in this biological sense. But you see the emotionality comes in too, that he's more ready to let go of this, this, and this. So now you think of you. You're describing yourself as a seeker, and you are. Are you letting go? And if you're not, then that letting go of little faith, less faith, that's not working. So really observe this notion of giving up littleness so that you can grow up. We'll review a little bit more about yajna and then shift into the next focus Shri Krishna takes up is tapas. Tapas has lots of meanings, but particularly growing up. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to start to chart out these classifications. How many of you are doing this? When you write, this becomes more precious to you. In so many contexts, even now sacred contexts, people make PowerPoint presentations. Where does that PowerPoint presentation go? It just gets filed away somewhere on your computer. But when you write, I feel there's such a closeness that comes with this. Keep writing. And you just never know when you'll be able to experience Bhagavad Gita again or like this. So do this well now rather than I'll study chapter 17 again later. Your application for this morning is, tomorrow is Sunday. It's a day where there's supposed to be more sun. I want you to prepare for tomorrow being super dedication day. Try to visualize that tomorrow you are going to be the most dedicated you've ever been. So prepare for that today. How is this going to play out tomorrow? Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be joy.